Yo, what's good? It's your man 100 Grand Ross with The Rock Never Stops. I have got to do a follow-up video on my It's Time to Hold Cade Cunningham Accountable. And I'm going to do it part 2. Because I think some of you are, I don't want to say just basic fans. I don't want to insult anybody, but I do want to point this out. That some of you have to understand that there's levels to this. And I want to dive into that in this video. If you enjoy the video, smash the like button for me, hit subscribe and the bell for notifications. Let me just start off with this. I have played the game of basketball since the first grade. I have coached pretty much at almost every level except for like professional leagues. I've done college, I've done high school, I've worked with individual athletes and all of it. And I want to say this. I think some of the most profound aha moments I've ever had as a basketball player was playing college ball. And I had a coach who was the most winningest college coach in California state history, right? And I remember he said something to me. He said, I know y'all think that you are good, but you're really the shits. People at this level are going to eat up 80% of what you think you can do. And that 20% of what you can actually do, we only need probably about 10% of it, in order to help this team win. I don't want everything that you think you can do. And I'm paraphrasing because he did a lot of cuss words and a lot of yelling and screaming at us. But he said, I don't want everything you think you can do. I want the best of what you can do to help this team win. And then he proceeded to line everybody up on the baseline. And he said, one at a time, he said, come out here and I want you to tell me where you think you can make 80% of shots wide open. Go to where you think you can shoot 80%. And if you can't shoot 80% there, I don't want you shooting it, right? It was pretty intense. He's cussing at us, yelling at us. We'd already been scrimmaging, playing, running lines, laps. We were exhausted. He said, come out here. And guys are tired and looking at each other because they know we're going to run even more if we ain't able to hit these shots. And so we sit there and we, gauge where we think, okay, for sure, I'm here. Right. And I get it that I'm a pretty confident shooter myself. And I get to that 18, 20, 21 feet. And I'm like, you know what? I feel like I'm butter from here. And I'm in good shape, but we're all exhausted. And I think I probably hit 7 out of 10. And everyone else somewhere in that area, anywhere from 5, 6 out of 10. I think maybe one guy hit 8 out of 10 and it was super close. It was like darn near like layups. Right. And he said, see, that's the problem with y'all. Is that you don't even know what you can actually do at this level. And what we began to realize over time is that what he was really trying to say is the level of competition that we were about to face. There was going to be a significant leap in terms of the opposition that we were going to have to overcome. And we have likely only refined about 20% of our game, of what we know that we can do on most occasions in almost any other space, except for this level. At this level, we were only going to be able to do 20% effectively, and only 10% of it could work in conjunction with the rest of the team to help us to win. This is what I mean by holding Cade Cunningham accountable. Cade Cunningham has all-star level talent. I don't think any of us are doubting that. We understand that. Jaden Ivey as well. He's got immense talent. Asar Thompson, immense talent. Jalen Duren. I can go down the line. But at this level, you cannot do everything you think you can do or may have been able to do at every other level. Not if we're going to win. And for us to be able to figure that out, I have to put you in a position to maximize what you can do effectively so you can build confidence in actually contributing to our winning. For those of y'all who think head coach Monty Williams is trash and he's not doing a good job, I want you to go through the different players on this Detroit Pistons roster, and I want you to look at their per, right? Pull up their stats for this season and look at their per and their true shooting percentage, right? These are the outcome measurables of the contribution and the level of effectiveness of each player within the certain number of games that they have played so far. And almost across the board, all of them have a higher per and a higher true shooting percentage than they did either last season or throughout their early career. What this is showing y'all is that even though they may not be getting the minutes you think that they should be getting, the touches, the opportunities that you think they should be getting, they are getting better. Because the level of accountability demanding of them that they maximize that 10% while they continue to work on the other 10% of the 20 that they can actually do at this level. And so that when they get that down, hopefully by the end of the season, you can then try to expand it to the rest of that 80%. But some of y'all don't realize that you have to start with the 10%. And you have to hold players accountable to even understanding what that 10% is. Look, Cade Cunningham right now cannot run an NBA offense full time. He's not there yet. And that's okay. It's not saying he's not going to get there. Remember, Trae Young's rookie season, he looked like trash the first half of the season, right? And then everybody was saying, oh, he's overrated, he's overhyped. And then the second half of the season, he exploded, right? And he won co-rookie of the year, right? This is what head coach Monty Williams is getting to. In order to maximize their talent, they have to start with them understanding and having a clear concept of what they do best and what they don't, what they still need to work on. Cade Cunningham still needs to work on consistent facilitation. He has to be sure with the ball in his hands. And I want to contrast that to another team on the Western Conference, the Houston Rockets. I've compared these two teams often because Cade Cunningham and Jalen Green were drafted right behind each other, right next to each other. And the only difference is Cade Cunningham missed last season. But what you see with these two different franchises is they both brought in winning coaches who have been to the NBA Finals, lost in the NBA Finals, but we're going to come in and create an identity of winning and holding players accountable. If you guys watch the Houston Rockets right now, Jalen Green is being stripped down, right? He's all the stuff he got away with all these other seasons, the past two years playing with Kevin Porter Jr., right, and having a free reign of everything he wanted to do, is being stripped down and it's saying, look, I need you to give me a 10%. What is that? And if you can't be consistent with that 10%, I'm going to hold you accountable to that. And it's going to impact your playing time until you refine that 10%. And what we're seeing is it's improving the overall play of that team. Alperen Şengün was on Podcast P's podcast. And in the interview, he talks about being in that draft, coming from overseas, playing an international play where coaches are 10 times more strict, right? They're 10 times more focused on players maximizing understanding the game between the ears and being able to maximize the team concepts, what they're trying to get down, the team identity, being consistent, understandings, all these different things, right? Before you even touch the floor. And then he said, when he got here, he said at first he was so frustrated, but everyone else, they were loose. Jalen Green, Kevin Porter Jr., everybody else was loose and they were relaxed. They were chilling. They were laughing after losses, loss after loss after loss. And he said what happened over time is they got used to losing. And after a while, they even started to expect to lose. And what ended up taking place is that over time, that just became a part of the culture, losing. And that's what they did. But now he said with the new coach, Ime Udoka, they're back to winning. And what that has looked like is the players who have too much of a culture of losing, too much of the normalcy of losing in their early DNA playing in the NBA are struggling to get playing time. Who do we see just have a big game against the Oklahoma City Thunder? Aaron Holiday. Aaron Holiday of the Holiday brothers, Drew Holiday, Justin Holiday, brothers who are renowned for understanding the game of basketball and how to maximize their talent and their skill to be able to affect winning. None of them are supreme athletes. They are not that gifted 0.1% of the LeBron Jameses and the Kobe Bryants and the Michael Jordans. They are guys who have had to maximize every bit of their skill and know-how in order to contribute and play at the highest level of a competition. And what you see is, even for them, Aaron Holiday, it's taken them time to develop their game to be able to play at the highest level. But what we see is when they find themselves in a system and a culture that's about winning, they know how to slide right in and contribute. They know how to play immediately within a team concept. Fred VanVleet, Alperen Şengün, Jabari Smith, these guys who understand winning basketball. Dylan Brooks, these guys who win. You see them respond to a winning coach. Then when you see guys who haven't learned how to win yet, Jalen Green, they're struggling. They're getting better, but they're struggling because it is a difference between playing to just play and playing to win. And one thing I loved how my coach used to say, I used to hate it at the moment, but he used to always yell at us when we started trying to do stuff that he knew was not going to work. And he would say, nobody wants to see that shit. Nobody wants to see that. Nobody wants to come in here and pay their money to come in here and see you guys dribble, throw the ball off the rim, and then complain to the ref and act like it was everyone else's fault. No, you cannot do that at this level. And you need to recognize that, because until you recognize that, you won't get better at it. You won't understand the requisite hard work it's going to take to improve. And that is what it means to hold Cade Cunningham accountable. If LeBron has to be held accountable, if Kobe had to spend time behind Eddie Jones, right? If all these other greats had to take their time and they had to pay their dues in order to develop their game to play at the highest level, why should Cade Cunningham not be held accountable as well? Don't give me, oh, hey, they don't have enough shooters. Hey, they don't have enough talent. It's not about that. It is about knowing your game and playing within your game for the betterment of the team. Cade Cunningham does not need to be a full-time facilitator. Matter of fact, I really don't want to see him on the court without Killian Hayes for the next 20-something games. I want Killian running the show, because when Killian is running the show and then Cade takes advantage of being that secondary playmaker, running pick and rolls on the offside, weak side wing, all of a sudden you see the lobs coming. He looks great. When you see him under pressure, under duress, being the full-time facilitator, all of a sudden he's struggling because he's not there yet. And that's okay. But he has to be held accountable, because you can't look at Jaden Ivey and say, we're going to bring you off the bench because you're struggling with turnovers. You can't look at Asar Thompson and say, you're struggling, so we're going to bring you now off the bench. And then look at Cade and say, you know what? Go ahead and keep turning the ball over. That's not winning basketball. You have to have a standard. You have to have a foundation. And that looks like accountability. Now, I know y'all are going to come back with all the reasons and all the excuses. It doesn't matter. Not everybody's going to have all the pieces that they want and need in order to find success immediately. You still have to maximize your talent and skills to be able to win. And right now, that looks like Cade. I'm going to have you stop bringing the ball up over and over. And more than anything, you have to learn how to not compound your mistakes. When you make one mistake and you turn it over, give the ball to Killian, or keep the play simple. Don't keep whipping the ball around, turning it over, dribbling it off your foot, turn over, trying to pass across the court once, twice, 3 times. You cannot do that. And next time Monty Williams sees that, he needs to call timeout and either jump in his face or he needs to sit him down. But as always, I kind of don't, but I do want to know what you all think of this video. Get at me in the comment section. I'm going to holler at y'all next time. Peace.